Oh boy. Finally, I'm getting back to Grisaia, one bit at a time. I cannot fit this on my head. Hello guys, it's been a while. And welcome, my name is Yuusha Anime, and welcome back to Grisaia no Kajutsu, or the Fruit of Grisaia, and I believe this is part 97? I don't know. I have no idea how many parts this is right now. Probably not 97, but I know I'm going to reach well over 100 with this. Yeah, I got a top hat at last. I'm increasing my range of quality by miles. But unfortunately, this is not fit on top of my headset. So if I ever give an update for quality reasons, I'll be wearing this. So, without any further ado, my face camera is back at last. And I hope you guys are ready because I've been waiting to do this. So guys, if you're ready, let's go. Normally Makina's so clingy, it's outright irritating, but every once in a while, she'll suddenly disappear on you. For example, when she gets all stubborn over some small thing and ends up getting in a fight. Or maybe cranky mornings after nights full of bad dreams. When she doesn't want to let anyone see her face, Makina will quietly vanish. But it's not as though the girl melts away into thin air. She always leaves her clues behind. When a woman says, "Don't look for me," it means come find me right now. Yeah. I think it was my big sister who taught me that when I was still very young. And this discarded sock caught unnaturally in Makina's door is probably her silent "don't look for me." Makina, you in there? Entering Makina's room for the first time, I find it dim and gloomy. I flick the switch on the wall next to the door, but the lights don't come on. A dark, empty room. There's nothing in the way of furniture, none of the daily necessities of life. The girl carried everything she uses regularly into Amane's room, leaving nothing behind here, as if prepared to disappear at any moment. Oh man, I haven't got back to this in a while, and already I'm not ready for this, am I? I don't think I'm ready for this. Oh, just like Yuji would. Almost like a cat making its own lonely grave. What, Makina? Oh. Makina's nearly empty room is lit only by moonlight and trickling in through the window. When my eyes adjust to find her curled up tightly on the floor, my heart gives a little jump of surprise. It feels almost like I'm looking at myself in the old days. As though the unpleasant memories I've tried to lock away have forced their way into reality. Makina. I kneel by her side and gently reach out to Makina's cheek, still damp from before she cried herself to sleep. It's warmer to touch than I'd expected. When I rest a hand on her small fist, the girl reflexively seizes hold of my fingers and squeezes them tightly, just like an overgrown infant. She can't ask anyone for help. She knows her friends will do everything they can if she does. Even so, she can't ask. Anyone she turns to for help will suffer for it because the girl understands that. Her lips are sealed. She doesn't want to cause trouble for the people who she cares for. It would be too painful to have them grow resentful or exasperated with her weakness. So instead she curls up in a dark place where no one can see her and wishes she was dead. She dreams of fading away quietly without bothering anyone. When you're warped this badly, an uncertain hand tentatively outstretched can bring nothing but pain. Still, I can't help but reach out to touch her. Even though my hypocrisy will hurt Makina, I can't do anything else. In the old days when I'd stopped caring about anything, my master simply turned back, reached out a hand, and said, "Grab hold." And today, I can only do the same. After that, it all comes down to whether she can find the willpower to take it. Honestly, I'm disgusted with myself. I hate that I don't have any other answers. I want to do something for her. Those feelings churn around fruitlessly in my head, producing nothing but frustration. Before I even know what I'm doing, I take Makina's chin in my hand and kiss her pink and slightly parted lips. Wait! Yuji? Yuji? Is this alright? I'm just saying, this is a interesting choice, but why? The girl's mouth smells like sugary bubblegum. I've touched these lips several times before. Oh yeah, because she did force herself on us that one time, didn't she? But today they're disturbingly cold. There's something ephemeral about the experience. It almost feels like she'll die unless I warm them up. Damn.
Papa.
Did I wake you up?
起きてたのよさ。
Oh. You don't say.
パパからキスしてくれたの初めてよね。
Yeah, it is actually. Yeah, most of the time it's just Makina forced herself on us. Is it?
キスはしてくれるのに。どうしてそこから先は何もしてくれないの？
She's the same age as everyone else, isn't she? Alright, let's go on. Because I'm your father, I'm not going to do anything you don't want me to.
いいのよ。パパなら嫌じゃないのよ。
I was a few minutes from my last video from this. God damn! All of a sudden, the somber atmosphere seems to transform completely. Makina's not exactly a girl you'd associate with the word seductive. Her childish innocence practically defines her, but right now she's got a surprisingly dirty twinkle. Oh boy. Oh boy. Okay, no matter how youthful the girl may look, it seems she's at least managed to pick up on the slyness of an adult woman. I wonder where she got that from. What's this all of a sudden? Did your mother say something? There it is. Hmm?
別に何も。
I see. Makina doesn't elaborate. Okay. Her voice is triggered... her voice is tinged with resignation, as though she decided that talking won't do any good. It sounds unpleasantly cold to my ears.
パパは私のためにいろいろしてくれてるのに、私はパパに何もしてあげられない。だから好きなことしていいんだよ。
You can do whatever the hell you want. Okay, look, I don't know, Makina. I heave a brief sigh, scratching at my head in bemusement. Just like women want that sort of emotional connection and comfort level, men need their reasons and excuses to sleep with someone.
女を抱くのに理由が必要なの？
It's easy enough to take advantage of over out women. True, but it's sort of a matter of pride and self-value. She does not value herself at the moment.
私が抱いてほしいっていうのは理由にならない？
Doesn't that stand as a reason? If you sleep with a man just to distract yourself, you'll end up regretting it. Yes.
後悔なんてしないし、もししたとしてもバカだな、だから言ったのにって笑えばいいのよさ。
I'm starting to think maybe she's making this choice now because she's not feeling anything, so she wants to feel something other than what she's feeling at the moment. I'm guessing that's what she's on about. Yeah. As she speaks, Makina puts both her hands on the wooden floor and lurches up steadily off the ground. Hey. I reflexively reach out a hand to support the girl as she wobbles precariously, but she wards it off with a little slap.
一人で立てるよ。子供じゃないし。
That's true. Isn't being pointlessly stubborn over things like that more than a little childish?
子供じゃないもん。
Makina makes it to her feet, unsteady as a newborn foal, and leans back against the window with a thump. Then reaches her small stubby hands to her collarbone, seizing the ribbon. Oh! Of her school uniform. Oh! Okay.
子供じゃないんだよ。
Hey, Yuji, hold it together. Hold it together. Ah, I see. Actually, I'm having a hard time following the logic. God, talking to Yuji, Kyle. Really? At a time like this, Yuji? The first word that comes to mind is underdeveloped. Yeah. The band and bust have grown differently, producing the so-called triangular shape. To be blunt, she's got small breasts. Yeah. If I were to yell, "You're not making a convincing case here, kid," and deliver a karate chop to the dome of her head, this runaway train would probably come crash into a hole. But you've got to give the girl credit for her effort and courage, right? Yeah, you've got to compromise here. Taking in the spectacle, I nod my head in approval of nothing in particular.
ねえパパ、私を抱いてよ。
It's not quite what she said. Daite. It's just saying, hey, Papa, please hold me. Or just hold me close. Say what? This little punk. I know, I'd always known she was cheeky, but now she's actually trying to seduce me.
それとも私みたいな女は嫌？抱きたくない？
Ooh.
何してもいいんだよ。
Ooh. I was wondering where this is coming from. Sounds like she might have gotten a few ideas from Harmony. Well, no, I shouldn't pass the buck. I'm the one who made her say all this. You really ready for this? She said, yeah. When I pillow close, I feel Makina's warmth settle in my arms. After the last few days, it's already a familiar sensation. Holding a girl like this inspires both guilt at having finally made her mine and a new, surprisingly powerful awareness of her as a woman. Her shoulders are slender, her head is small against my chest. Not exactly voluptuous, and she doesn't make much of a pillow, but I can feel my determination to keep this soft little creature safe growing even more absolute. Damn! I didn't expect that. Alright. That just happened the moment I came back to this after how long? 3 months? There are 2 times when a woman will start making particularly unreasonable demands. The first is when she wants to confirm that a man loves her, and the second is when she's decided to leave that man. I'm pretty sure what happened last night with Makina falls into the latter category, so when I wake up to find she's no longer lying at my side, I'm not particularly flustered or even surprised. I see. She left her. If anything, resigned might be a better word. Most likely Makina's decided not to trouble anyone, to go off and fight all alone. Yep. I talked pretty damn big about becoming her father, but in the end, I guess I couldn't do much of anything for the little girl. Even so, maybe my presence in her life helped Makina find the courage to stand on her own like this. That pathetic self-serving theory is my only comfort right now. Makina. When I mumble her name, there's a sharp twinge of loneliness in my chest. The thought of never feeling that small body settle onto my lap again makes me sigh out loud. If she's made up her mind to go, then there's nothing I can do. If she's decided to confront them all on her own, it's not my place to interfere. But did you really have to vanish without saying a word, Makina? I'm not going to start complaining about something you decided on your own. And we're not thoughtless enough to try tagging along on a road you want to walk alone. Well, I mean, not that I wanted you to imitate a certain shaggy-headed German woman and write bye-bye on the window in lipstick or anything. JB does that? Damn, Yuuchi. Seem to remember that making me less sentimental and more irritated. But still, would it have killed you to say I'm going now? Itadakimasu. To my back as I pretended to sleep or something. Shame the girl vanished before I could teach her that sort of romantic etiquette. The only thing Makina has left behind in this room is a faint trace of her sweet body odor gurgling oak. I said oak. Freaking ogre. Well done, me. Odor. Right. Lingering in the air. Looking more closely, there's actually a few pieces of junk the girl seems to have carried in here at some point. Hadn't even noticed. When leaving the man's room, a woman's supposed to carefully gather up all her personal belongings and toss a single earring under the bed. Guess nobody explained that to her either. But I guess it's going to be a while before I can teach her anything again. My maudling thoughts are interrupted by a shout from the lobby outside. I look up reflexively. This idiotic voice, completely wiping out the motivation of all who hear it. Buta! Sure enough, a certain individual's rudely thumping away at a giant lump of wheat flour, keeping up a constant stream of abuse in the pidgin Japanese of a foreign hostess. Even in this dormitory, there aren't many people who keep up this sort of bizarre behaviour first thing in the morning. Well, there's only one other, really, isn't there? Makina, why? Are you still here? When you were going off to have a showdown with your mother, or, you know, confront your destiny or whatever? As the girl vigorously assaults the flower while bathing it in abuse, I call out to her small back. Hey, Makina. Does she think she's at the bakery? About face. Me, kid. What are you starting about? Since when was I president of anything? What are you doing out here?
見てわからねえものは聞いてもわからねえぜお嬢ちゃん
お嬢ちゃん What the hell are you calling a princess?
見ての通り小麦粉を練っているのよさ外国人ホステスプレ
ーで What? Hold on. What? I'm eating wheat flour while role-playing as an immigrant hostess. That is incredible. Calling something roleplay doesn't automatically make it kosher, kid. Kosher, that's it. I always say kosher, it's kosher. Most likely, she's picked up that way of speaking from the hostess that they're shopping down by the station, but that job at the bakery really seems to have expanded her sphere of relationships. Some slightly weird expectations. Oh. Carefully adding, and by a sec, I mean it's going to take an hour, Makina turns her back to me. Then she brings roughly chopping up the thoroughly degassed dough and rolling it into balls. Tell me something, Makina. Last night, you talked with your mother over the telephone, right? Are you not going to tell me the result? Right.
帰りたくないなら帰ってこないでいいってただそんだけのことなのよさ
そんだけか I'm starting to think that she's gonna try and kidnap you now. You don't have to go back? Is that really what she told you?
私のことはもう諦めたんじゃないかな
Nope.
ほら
I do not buy it. I do not buy it for one moment. Okay, for one thing, the saying is 75 days. She's so happy, what the hell? Is this time to be cackling like an idiot? Does she really think the problem's been resolved? That we can keep up this peaceful life? The idea is ridiculous. If the situation was simple enough to settle with a quick chat over the phone, things never would have gotten this bad in the first place. Well, you say that, but I'd love for this calm daily life to go on forever, but unfortunately I've got a very strong premonition things are only going to get worse. Same here. And for whatever reason, my instincts are regrettably reliable when it comes to things like this. There it is. The phone vibrating in my chest pocket is my work cell. When I slowly retrieve it and calmly check the screen, a small LED indicates I have a new email. Fighting down the urge to click my tongue in frustration, I take a look at the subject line. From CEO to 9029. An official communication to agent number 9029 from his case officer. In other words, a direct order from JB to me. As for the contents of the message itself, present yourself at the main office, 1400 hours. It's two extremely blunt sentences conveying nothing but the when and where. Oh, I check the watch on my left arm. Time is 12:12. I heave a heavy sigh, then snap my cell phone shut and get to my feet.
Yuuji, ちょうどよかった。今呼びに行こうとしてたところなのよ。
Oh yeah? What's up? Need something?
何ってお昼ご飯だよ。
Oh, lunch, huh?
何？どっか出かけるの？
Yeah, the boss over at my part-time job wants me to stop by the main office.
じゃあ、あんたお昼どうするの？
I'll just grab something from a convenience store or fast food place on the way.
5分ぐらい待ってる時間ない？
I double check my watch. Well, 5 minutes or so wouldn't be a problem.
じゃあ待ってて、お弁当用意してあげる。
Oh. That's not really...
すぐだから、ね。
Look, Armin, it's not your route. We've already been over this multiple times. Oi. Oh, that woman being pushy isn't anything new. No use fighting it this late in the game. Might as well just wait obediently and save myself trouble later. Yeah, might as well. But 5 minutes later, Armin is not the one who shows up.
パパ、お仕事行くの？
Yeah, they called me in for a bit. Shouldn't take long though.
どうして呼び出されたの？なんか悪いことしたの？
I'd imagine not. Well, nothing really comes to mind. This happens all the time though. Nothing to get worried about.
本当に？私に内緒でなんか危ないこととかしちゃ嫌よ。
Oh. It's fine. I said there's nothing to worry about, right? That said, I was lying when I said nothing comes to mind. They probably got something to do about that little shooting incident at the Mishima Cape police station.
じゃあ頑張って働いてくるのよ。これお弁当。
Apparently satisfied for the moment, the girl rustles around and pulls out a paper sack, then hands it to me. Thanks. What's inside?
MQI4 新開発の高純メロンパンの4型なのよさ。
Super saturated?
高圧新純メロンパン。パンの焼成時に加圧した水蒸気で生地の中に水分を閉じ込めた新製法なの。外はサクサク、中はしっとりもちもちなメロンパンなのよ。
These things are pretty damn heavy.
通常のメロンパンと違って比重が約 1.25 あるのよさ。業界初水に沈むメロンパンなのよ。
Oh,
引っ張り
bless.
強度が通常比で 2.7 倍。噛み応えもバッチリなのよさ。
A girl's treat. Dream, I guess. Not sure if I really understand the details, but sound like quite a culinary experience.
食感はエアインのお餅みたいな感じだから喉に詰まらせないようによく噛んで食べるのよ。
Ah, okay. Understood. Alright, I'll be on my way.
気をつけてね。
Imagine if we die from melon bread. That would be such a way to go. Jesus. Yeah. Well, hopefully I managed to convince her this isn't a big deal, but honestly, it's always a little depressing to get summons like this. Since JB's actually called me into the office instead of communicating through email or telephone, this is probably going to be a fairly serious discussion. As a general rule, when an older woman gets an earnest look at her face and says we need to talk, nothing good's going to come of it. Oh, don't you know the half of it. The message from JB just specified the main office as our meeting place. Of course, she didn't mean the actual headquarters of our organisation in America, but a Japanese HQ that's borrowing some space a little more locally. Getting to the building in question involves catching a civilian railway company train through Mishima Cape, transferring to Japan Railways in Shinagawa, then taking the subway from Yarukucho in Tokyo. Yeah, which should take about an hour by train. Arriving at the station platform with some time to spare, I settled down on the bench, then opened a paper sack I received from Makina. Inside, as promised, are a number of bright yellow pastries. They're typical melon buns by appearance, but when I pick one up, it really is bizarrely heavy for its size. Taking the bun in both hands, I open my mouth wide and take a big bite. It's almost like crunching into a cookie and a bagel at once. Certainly a novel melon bun experience. The girl might be onto something. After completing my quick and sugary lunch, I enjoyed the unpleasant train ride into the city, passing the time speculating about the reason I've been summoned. I've been called to headquarters plenty of times before. The first was on the day I returned to Japan. As an employee newly transferred from the United States, I offered a formal greeting to the chief of my branch of office and filled out the paperwork to enroll in a training school where I'd learn how things were done in Japan. There we go. My second summons to HQ came after I completed my basic studies to arrange my transfer to a more advanced school for the second half of my training. My third summons came when, unable to endure the starvation rations and the advanced training school, a few classmates and I cooked and ate some carp from the pond on campus. My fourth summons came when they wanted my expertise as SPP, Specialized Proficiency Personnel, testing out some newly developed equipment. And after finishing my second round of training and being deployed into the field, I was called in several times a year to be given some special jobs that weren't recorded in the Japanese officers' books. In other words, when I'm called into HQ, they're either angry with me or they have an annoying job to foist off on me. Either way, it's nothing to look forward to. Yeah, not surprised, mate. After arriving at my stop on the 4 line, I climb out of the subway, cross the bridge, lined with cherry blossom trees, and with a fork at the police station toward Yasukuni Street. Within 5 minutes, our front gate comes into view. There's a guard in a smart blue uniform standing at the main entrance, despite appearances he's just a rent-a-cop from a private security firm. For what it's worth, there is a security station just inside staffed by actual company employees, but the tools... Sorry, excuse me. It's been a bit sleepy recently, a lot of work. But the tools hanging from their shoulders don't have any filling stuffed inside. Ah, bulletproof vests, you mean. Always makes me wonder why they feel the need to bother lugging those heavy things around in the first place. Maybe it's a religious thing. In any case, most of the defense systems are actually protecting headquarters and are outsourced to a variety of civilian security companies. Hey, they're helping out local businesses. The guards standing around in the lobby are mostly for show, I'd expect. Nestled in the corner of a structure with the romantic name of C Building is the office of my beloved superior, Haridera Yuria, a section chief in the 2nd Division. Not exactly a spacious room, but since JB transferred in as foreign capital, it was a hard-won prize. This office is a symbol of a successful struggle for promotion from acting section chief to a formal command. A certain group of boorish individuals have been known to mock this room as a kennel, in reference to the work that goes on in here, but you'd need a pretty black sense of humour to laugh at that particular joke. Damn. Number 9029, reporting in. Even as I offer the standard greeting, my eyes briefly find the room's built-in security camera and confirm that it's currently active. At this characteristic bit of shrewdness on my part, maybe cowardice is the better word, JB gives a disdainful little snort and looks up at her clock. Please excuse me. I'd appreciate that, thank you. Even though I'm talking to JB, this is the company's main office, and I'm addressing my superior. Can't exactly give her the usual routine. I've always found that a little awkward, honestly. Probably one of the reasons I harbor a mild dislike for this room. He can't be himself. JB picks up the telephone on her desk, combs up a stray lock of shaggy blonde hair, then presses the receiver to her left ear.
Kiara, coffeeを2つお願い。そう、私の分はデカフェで。
Even got yourself a secretary now, eh? Cheeky girl.
何か言った？
Uh-oh. No, nothing at all. Perhaps you're hearing things, man.
もう、なんか気持ち悪いわね。あなたの敬語を聞いてると逆にバカにされてるみたいでムズムズする。もういいわよ。普通に喋りなさい。
That certainly works for me. Oh yeah, that's how Kiara looks, I forgot. With a few crisp words, a woman in a white uniform who's presumably JB's personal assistant enters the room. At a glance, she's maybe 24 years old, a good bit younger than JB. Her hair's an unusual silvery shade of grey, neatly trimmed, her skin's dark, and her pink painted lips are fairly thick. A good bit of African ancestry, but judging from the big bluish eyes behind her glasses, she's probably mixed race. Fair assumption. Could have guessed her nationality just to look at her. Guess you could call that a fairly representative trait for those in this particular posting.
どうぞ。
The personal assistant places the coffee cup on the table in front of me, her face blank and uninviting.
あなたが内容中ない？
Yeah, I've been working under that designation for the last few years.
よろしければ握手を。
Huh? A handshake? Actually, okay. The woman holds out her hand with a smile you'd almost think she learned from a textbook, but her eyes hold more than a bit of skepticism. The rumor 9029 has a special significance within this organization. Understandable enough to feel a little dubious about the legendary agent in question being a brat like me.
9029は何人もいるって言うけど本当？あなたは何人目？
キアラ、ご苦労様。退出して結構よ。
She's trying to get as much as
それと
possible.
よかったら後で一緒に写真を。
Oh, yeah, she's a fango.
退出しなさい。
はーい。じゃあまた後でね。
Oh, she wants it. Did she just blow me a kiss? Well then. The woman named Kiara winks, a single eye shut behind her glass, and gives her lips a little smack. She leaves it. She did. As she leaves the office. I hadn't been particularly conscious of it before, but a certain characteristic of the woman catches my eye as she saunters out of the door. Minus thoughts escape my mouth. The secretary's got a pretty big... Nice. The secretary's got a pretty big ass.
何その感想。どういう皮肉？
Not particularly, just straightforward expression of my observations.
あなた、それセクハラよ。
A spirit using the word sexual harassment as a weapon to intimidate men is power harassment, my friend.
口の減らない子ね。
Nah. You think back in the day, a certain blonde used to complain about me, not even answering when spoken to. I guess people really can change. Ignoring JB's intense glare with a composure born of a long experience, I take the paper coffee cup by its cardboard sleeve and bring it to my mouth. Pretty good. Common joke that an officer's field orderly learns about making coffee than anything else. More about coffee, okay. But it seems there might be a bit of truth to it.
大体、どうして学生服のまま来るのよ。服ならいくらでも買ってあげているでしょ。
I mean, too much of a pain to get changed, that's all. Just a polite fiction, of course. I'm not quite that lazy, but honestly speaking, even if they bought me some Versace or Versace, I see what you did there, or whatever. There's no way I'd be able to pull the look off. For one thing, JB, last time they forced me into a suit to get an updated photo for our internal records, I seem to remember you shouting, looks like someone got a big date for the middle school prom. You didn't call me here to criticize my fashion sense, right? Can we get to the point?
言われなくても分かってるわよ。
JB stalks over to the corner of her room, still sporting a sulky frown, to where a hefty little safe sits on the ground. Oh, and squatting down in a way that affords me fleeting glimpses of her thighs through the hem of her skirt, she begins to spin the dial installed on the front of it.
こっち見ないのよ。
Not to worry, if I feel the need for a little eye candy, I'll just take another look at the secretary's rear end before I head.
そうじゃなくて、ダイヤルを覚えちゃダメよって言ってるの。
Not to worry, I'm not so stuffed a female company as to get turned on by a hunk of metal.
だからそうじゃなくて。もう。
Right, just joke.
あなたの冗談を聞いていると生理が止まりそうだわ。
Oh, okay. Did she just mention a way? Did she just mention like hearing his jokes makes her age more? Is that what she literally just said? God, I've never heard it worded like that before. You're say bigger rub.
いいから。はい、これ。これを見てもふざけていられる？
The envelope she thrusts violently before my eyes bears a red stamp reading facts, copying strictly prohibited. When I open it, I find an official order document identified by a serial number. Damn, okay. The paper's specially coated. A standard fax or copy machine won't even pick up the characters. On top of which, after a certain period of time, the words will fade away into illegibility all on their own. In other words, I can tell without even glancing at the details that this is an extra departmental order, perfectly official, but completely off our books, the sort of thing that absolutely can't come to light. Jesus, again, huh? This isn't the first time I've gotten orders like these. I've had several of these envelopes handed to me, and without fail their contents have always been assassination missions. It's not for Makina, is it? Shit, it's for Makina. High-ranking drug cartel bosses, corrupt politicians with dangerous political leanings. There's quite a difference in terms of social position and status, but individuals or group determined by the collective will of the nation to pose a significant disadvantage to its interests are quietly, secretly removed from the stage. The nail that stands out gets pounded down, as they say. In an assassination of that sort, sniping is a fairly common method. Typically, several shooters are assigned the same task. As with a firing squad, it's an attempt at easing the conscience by making it impossible to know who fired the killing shot. But even so, murder is murder. Hey, GB. JB, yes. Did I say GB? Yeah, I did. JB. I can't kill people anymore. You know that, right?
もちろん知っているわ。それが原因であなたが予備役になったことも理解しています。
So he has killed. I've participated in several assassinations of this sort previously, but I'm fundamentally a coward. When it comes to taking human lives, I'll hesitate just as much as a normal person. No matter what kind of evil, worthless scum I'm looking at through my scope, my finger freezes up for a moment when I try to pull the trigger. That's a fatal defect for a sniper. Yep, because then if you miss, you're done. Or you can get freaking offed behind the scenes with these types of jobs. Even so, when my master was alive, I managed to kill without thinking too much. When I told myself I was pulling the trigger in Askor's place, when I told myself that even a piece of garbage like me could be useful to Askor this way, I could fire without worrying about a thing. And when the job was over and I went home, Askor was there to embrace me and say well done. She was there to confirm that I'd done the right thing. But Askor's gone. The person who bore the curses of the dead in my place is gone now. And she can't be replaced unless the words come from someone who stained their hands with blood. They can't offer me the slightest comfort. JB, I'm sorry, but you're not good enough. You know that perfectly well yourself, don't you? A sniper who can't pull the trigger is right up there with a radio that can't make a sound in the irritating, useless junk department. That's a good part of the reason I ended up on the reserve in the first place. Why would you even bother showing me this now?
分かっていると言ったでしょ。落ち着いて暗殺対象者の名前を見てみなさい。
It's Makina. What? Called it. Oh, they're gonna try and kill Makina. Or they're gonna try and force me to kill Makina. Hey, what is this?
見ての通り、あなたと同じ学園に通うクラスメート、イリス・マキナが今回の標的よ。
You can't be serious. What the hell's going on?
理由は詮索しない。それもあなたの仕事の一部よ。
Why would Makina be? Who's the client?
私は知らないし、あなたも知る必要もないわ。所詮私も中間管理職。上からの命令を駒であるあなたたちに伝えるだけ。そしてあなたはその命令に従うだけ。違う。
This is the power of her mother, eh? Jeez. She's not wrong. That's exactly how it is. JB brought me this job knowing full well that I can't kill, knowing about my relationship with Makina. At this rate, the girl's definitely going to be erased one way or the other. Is JB telling me I should be the one to do it? That if Makina has to die, dispatching her personally would be the kindest way? Or maybe this whole summons is nothing but a facade and JB's sole objective was to tip me off to the threat to Makina's life in the form of an order. Whatever the case, I can't keep my shock from showing on my face. Why is this happening? Resisting the urge to grind my teeth, I lower my gaze to the document in my hand. The field where the issuer of the order would usually be named is blank, but nonetheless there are 3 stamps of authorization below. It's been approved by 3 different people. A tripartite order. This sort of shady job usually comes with Akasaka's approval alone, but this time we got the full set. In other words, this mission was undertaken on the mutual agreement of Akasaka, Ichigaya, and Kasumi Gaseki. Definitely not something you see every day.
そういうこと。
They were forced
つま
to
り
do
は
this.
多少派手なことをしてもみんなでかばってくれるから大丈夫ということね。
Why are you showing this thing to me?
分かっているでしょ。赤坂の認証がある以上は私には最高かつ最適の人材を用意する必要があるのよ。私が知る限りあなた以上の適任はいないわ。
You want me to kill a classmate with my own hands? You've got some nerve, you shaggy-headed dimwitted.
私をなじって気が済むのなら何とでも言いなさい。ただし
You want a clear yes or no, right?
そういうこと。
Although it should probably go without saying for a mission carried out with this level of secrecy, you're not typically going to get a briefing on the specifics before you accept the job. And the plan's going to be executed, where it'll be put into operation, who's participating, how many teams will be committed. You don't know a single thing went in advance. Once you've listened to the plan in full, saying, I think I'll pass after all isn't going to fly. In the first place, an agent only needs to understand a specific job. The broader circumstances aren't any of our concern. When you're a piece on the board, only two things are requested of you. The willingness to do what you're told, and the ability to make it happen. Your personal circumstances aren't worth shit. There's no compromise option. It's yes or no, one or the other.
嫌な目つきね。
Staring into my face, JV mumbles the words quietly. At the moment, I've probably got the look of someone who's spied a loathsome insect scuttling along the floor and crushed it emotionlessly. An unattractive mixture of disgust and cold-blooded cruelty. It's an expression you get used to seeing after spending enough time in this company. The expression of someone enduring injustice redesigned to ugly reality. The expression of an agent.
あなたに用意された選択肢は2つ。イリス・マキナの暗殺を引き受けるか、何も見なかったことにして今すぐこの場を立ち去るか。
Do I have to make that choice right now?
任務の性質上、今日は帰ってゆっくり考えなさいとは言えないのよ。ましてやあなたは対象者と同じ施設に寝泊まりしている。もしあなたが現時点で任務への参加を拒否した場合、あなたの身柄はこのまま拘束されます。
So I would be arrested in the time they're trying to kill Makina. Well, yeah, I'd imagine so. In other words, the moment I saw that document, the number of options available to me was essentially reduced to one. The answer is yes.
賢明ね。
A tinge of relief in her voice, JB softly exhales the air in her lungs and peers into my eyes through as though searching for some reassurance of my loyalty.
正常期に誓える？
Yeah, I'll swear it on the flag.
そう。だったら今日はもう帰っていいわ。詳細が決まり次第連絡します。
Understood. I promptly stand from the sofa and click my heels sharply together. Number 9029. Resuming normal post on semi-alert status. JB averts her eyes from my steady gaze slightly, briefly glancing at the surveillance camera installed in my corner of her office. At the corner of her office, okay. Most likely, they had staff standing by watching the monitor in real time as a precaution against me refusing the order. That's why she said a wise decision. Pretending not to notice, I raised my head from the salute, then promptly leave the room. Well then, what to do? I'd been prepared for something ugly, but not to suddenly find myself placed on the side of those hunting Makina. That said, it's not like the current situation was completely outside the realm of my speculation. Considering the power and influence of the Irisu family, I'd vaguely hypothesized a scenario like this might be a possibility. The moment that he said an assassination contract, I knew it's for Makina. She said no, and then
They're quick.
They are quick. Most likely, Akasaka is playing a large role in this one. Uncle Sam, the father of post-war Japan, kindly allowed us to develop wealth and influence under the banner of freedom and democracy. And the people running the show in Nagata-cho still haven't managed to move out to Dad's basement. I glanced at the watch on my left wrist. 14:23. Seems that meeting in JB's office actually took less than 30 minutes. Coming to a halt a little ways before the bridge I crossed on my way here, I glanced over at the outpost of a certain hamburger peddling multinational corporation. This sort of food isn't bad every once in a while. Muttering this blatantly artificial comment to no one in particular, I entered the fast food restaurant. Then make straight for the register, ordering the company's namesake burger, a side of french fries and an iced coffee. After paying in advance, it's is it Mossburger? I'm trying to remember. I take my drink and ticket and settle in at a seat by the window. The street outside's not especially busy at the moment, only a few passerby. Among them I noticed a businessman of some sort standing in front of the bridge with his shirt sleeves rolled up and a jacket tucked under one arm. He's pressing the cell phone to his ear, obsequiously bowing his head over and over. Okay. Talking to his boss or a client. Either way, he won't be hanging around there for too long. Eventually, a member of the restaurant's floor staff comes over with my food on the plastic tray, exchanging it for the ticket in my hand. After a few vigorous bites into my burger, I glance out the window again. I need to find that the businessman who had been desperately apologising, which is fine, has already taken his leave. They're watching you, Yuji. Been a while since I had a meal like this. Pretty tasty, but not exactly something I want to eat every day. Not bad, more or less sums it up, yeah. Once I've washed down the overly juicy hamburger and my iced coffee, I quickly shovel the thick French fries into my mouth. Then put my tray away and promptly leave the restaurant. I glance at my watch again. 14:31. 7 minutes in there. After making my way briskly back to the station, I take the stairs 2 at a time and slip my way into the premises. Once I descended to the appropriate platform, I walk all the way to the far end, boarding the very first car of the subway train that arrives with perfect timing. Since it's early afternoon, the subway isn't exactly crowded. I only count 6 passengers in the lead car, including myself. Ignoring the numerous empty seats, I turn around, open the door in the back of the carriage, and make my way into the next car. And there I can find... thought so. The man who had been kowtowing to his phone by the burger place seems to have caught this train as well. Yeah, he's making sure you do the job, mate. Oh no. He's wearing the jacket formally under his arm, and his formerly swept back hair is now parted horizontally, but it's definitely him. The man catches his breath for a moment when I meet his eyes. But after I offer him a quick smile and nod, he jerks up one side of his mouth and furrows his brow in an expression of wry resignation. Well, I guess it's only what you'd expect. Yeah. The company might have allowed me to go home, but they're not quite soft enough to let me wander off alone. Under the circumstances, it's only natural that they'd have someone keeping an eye on me. Would you mind if I take that seat? There are empty seats all over the train, but I settled myself down right next to the man. This way he won't have to bother pretending to read a newspaper while shooting me little glances out of the corner of his eye. A little gesture of professional courtesy on my part. Fair enough. Do a better job, mate. Leaning back next to my new friend, I love that. I sink calmly into thought while pretending to study an advertising monitor above the exit. Since my immediate orders were to stand by, it's probably safe to assume there's going to be a few days of preparation before Makina's assassination is carried out. I want to believe they're going to approach this very carefully. One day on standby. One day for us to learn and absorb the details of the operation. One day for ordering and provisioning the necessary equipment and machinery. One day for general review and familiarising ourselves with the equipment. Even estimating fairly generously, I've gained 4 days at the longest. If I've had turned down the job, the company would simply have locked me down and given it to another agent, so she would have been dead. I bought myself a little time here, and now I need to use it to find a way out of this mess. That said, given the current situation, I'm not going to find any answers, no matter how thoroughly I think this over. I'm suffering from an obvious and crippling lack of information. I can't even see my enemies. There's no harder way to fight a battle. Fucking hell. Okay, I'll read this bit quick. I just read it. The man who'd been sitting on my side, apparently finding the experience extremely awkward, removed himself from the train at the very first station stop. There wasn't any sign of someone taking his place afterward on the whole. My return to Mrs. McCabe went off surprisingly smoothly, but I guess it's not quite that easy. There's an unfamiliar motorcycle parked along the street near the entrance to the shopping district. Although the bike itself looks like it's fresh off the lot, the license plate on the back is noticeably battered and worn. Probably a special plate that's seen service on a number of vehicles over the years. Earning those paychecks, I see. So they're even around here. Well, of course they would be. Judging from the resources they've committed to surveillance, the client must be pretty on edge. Speaking of that client of ours, there are several points I'm having a difficult time getting my head around here there. First and foremost, why have they suddenly decided Makina needs to die at this point? I just had a thought. Maybe it's not Makina's mother at all. What if it was Makina herself? Couldn't be, right? Makina couldn't have done the order herself, right? Surely not. I bloody hope not, anyway. First and foremost, yeah, I already read that. Considering we're talking about someone connected through enough to request a job from our company, it's hard to believe they couldn't have arranged something like this a long time ago. Yeah, it's only after that phone call. So it could have been either one of those two. Until now, Makina's enemies have been content to keep her stuffed away in a corner like a worthless employee too troublesome to fire. Even when she pokes her head out of the cage, they have limited themselves to warnings, however blunt. So, what's prompted this casual change in policy to an outright assassination? I can't understand why this client's allowed Makina to live until now. Why they've only now decided to kill her? Something must have changed. There must be some reason they can't afford to worry about appearances anymore. If I could only identify that reason, I have a feeling I might be able to devise some counter strategies as well, but in the first place, who exactly is our enemy here? I think this is one question Makina herself wouldn't be able to answer. Even if I were to explain the situation to her, since they got Akasaka off its ass. We're talking about a group or individual with significant power on the global scale. Obviously they're involved with the industry somehow, but the nation itself won't move its heavy buttocks for private interests. 3 stamps suggest the involvement of someone in the Pentagon, or maybe a shelf in the NSA. Whatever the exact details, this is without a doubt turning into a proxy war against an extremely problematic opponent. You ain't kidding.
Kazami-san, お帰りなさいませ。
I'm going to end
お
it
早
here.
いお戻りで何よりです。セーブするわ。
I'm going to end this part here. Wow. This episode has been something. I'm shocked how quickly this has developed. A lot has happened in just an hour on here. I've been away for ages. I knew it was near the end of her route, but at the same time, I just need to get back into a regular recording pattern again. That's my biggest crux and my biggest weakness, and unfortunately you guys know that too well, so I am sorry about that. But anyway, I am all out of time for this episode, so thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed. Leave a like if you did, subscribe if you want any more from me, and I shall see you in the next video. Sorry, guys. I will most certainly see you next time. Sorry, guys. I will indeed be back. That poor guy doing his job on the train. Gotta feel sorry for him.